Good morning, everyone. My screen is visible for everyone. So we are discussing about the looping statements, right? Looping statements meaning the main purpose of looping statements, which is used to execute the statements repeatedly. Okay, that is the main definition of the looping statement, which is used to execute the statements repeatedly, execute the statements repeatedly. Okay, where we have the classifications are like first one is I would say while loop, and the second one is we have do while, and then third one we have the for loop, and fourth one we have the for each loop, nested for loop, nested for loop, and fifth one we have for each loop. So these are the classifications we have under the looping statements. Okay, okay. These are the classifications: while loop, do while loop, for loop, nested for loop, and then for each loop. Okay. So in the last session, we done the discussion with while loop. While loop, the main purpose of while loop, which is also used to execute the statements, which is used to execute the statements until the condition is true. Until the condition is true. Until the condition is true. Okay. Until the condition is satisfied, it will execute the statements. So, is there any syntax for the while loop? Yes, we have the syntax. The syntax should be like this. While is the keyword, and here we need to take the condition. So until the condition is satisfied, it will execute the statements. From here to here, this is the scope of the while block. This is the scope of the while block. So in the while block, so in one line we need to take the variable initialization, var- variable initialization, and okay. Next we need to take in second line. Here this is the condition, and then here we need to take the condition, and the third thing here we need to take increment or decrement. Okay, increment or decrement. Okay, this is while until the condition is satisfied, it will execute the statements. Right, in the last session we done the programmatical as well. Okay, so next we have the do while basically I will show you. So do while basically first we'll see the syntax of it. Do is the keyword, while is also keyword, right? First we need to mention do, and here we can this is the scope of the do block. Inside the do block we will write some statements. Okay, these are some statements, and here we will write the condition. While here we will write the condition. So here the thing is, which is also use the statements execute multiple times repeatedly, but before checking the condition, it will execute at least one time. So before going, if the condition is true, false, that is the second option. Before going to check the condition, it will execute at least one time. The statements are available in the do block. Okay, do block. So here also in this case for every in the looping statements, variable initialization, condition, increment or decrement we need to take. Okay, here also we need to take somewhere variable initialization. So here I am taking variable initialization. Next thing is here we are taking the condition. Here we need to take the condition, and here we need to take inside increment or decrement. Okay, increment or decrement. I will write the program on it, then we'll get the clarity on it. Simply, I will open where the file is available. You can go there and you can create one file. So this is the last program, right? So we have taken initialization in one line, and condition in one line, and increment in one line, right? Increment in one line. So similarly, Right now I will take one more file. The file name is I am taking as okay. The file name you can take anything. So in my case I'm taking do while demo. Do while demo. Okay, dot Java. Right. So the first thing is you have to create a class, public class, do while demo, do while demo. I would say from here to here, this is the scope of the class. And then here we need to take the main method, public static void main, I would say string aux from here to here. This is the scope of the main method, right? Now we are doing the do while block. So first we have to initialize. So normally how it will be. So have to take the do keyword and here we need to this is the do keyword and here we need to take the scope of the do block and then and after that while is the keyword here we need to pass some condition, right? Here this is the separator, semicolon is the separator. Okay, here we need to pass the some statements, right? So now I am taking the condition in x equal to I am taking some one value. I am initializing the value x is 1. So this is called the variable initialization. Variable initialization. Okay. Variable initialization. Okay. So here I am taking the statements like system dot out dot println. Println. Here I am taking the statements like as hello. Anything you can take. Okay. Hello and semicolon. Okay. Here condition what I mentioned the condition is I would say x x less than or equal to 5. This is the condition. I'm saving this one and then I will open where the file is available. I am going there and then I will look for the CMD. Then we can type with the Java. We need to compile the file demo while next do while demo dot Java. Okay, the file has successfully compiled Java do while demo, right? So if you observe here, which is continuously printing. Why it is continuously printing meaning? So what will happen? The basically the process here it is. Every program execution will start from the main method. The controller will comes to this line. Variable got initialized with the one. Controller will go inside this block and it will execute. It is executing. It is executing the repeatedly. It is executing repeatedly. Why? Because x is less than 5, right? So, which is here in this point, which is also execute the until the condition is true. But before the checking the condition, it will execute at least one time. That is the only the difference between the while and do while. Are you guys clear with the point? So we have to mention the increment here. The increment, I would say, for example, if I mention the increment x plus plus, then we can save this one, and then uh, control shift C, then the control got terminated, Java C file demo, and then how to run the file. So we are getting the file. What will happen internally is I will show you. I will use MS Paint and then I will show you. MS Paint. Guys, what will happen? The basically, so programs everybody will write, but we need to understand the internal process. Okay, normally how the syntax it should be do keyword, and from here to here this is the scope of the do block, and here we will write the set of statements, and where we have while keyword, here we will mention the condition. We will mention the condition, right? So before checking the condition, it will execute at least one time and then check the condition. If the condition is true, then again it will going to execute the statements repeatedly. If the condition is false itself, it will at least execute at one time. It will, for example, here we are writing the program like this, right? I would say I will write like this one. Okay, the program as of now we write the program like this, like we have initialized int x equal to 1, right? And then do block, from here to here this is the scope of do block. Here sop statement, we pass some dummy message, that is the hello, and then next we have the while block. Here we will mention, I would say, condition, right? X less than or equal to 5, at x less than or equal to 5, right? Now, what will happen? Basically, internally here it is x, which is holding the values 1. Then the controller come go inside. It will execute at one time, and then it will check the condition. So here we need to mention the increment x plus plus. Okay, it will execute, and then now x is holding the value 1, right? When the whenever we are mentioning the x plus plus, meaning x is increased by 1, then the what the x value here 2, it will come to here. 2 is less than or equal to 5. Yes, 2 is less than or equal to 5. Yes, true. So then the controller again goes to here, and it will print, and again it will increase by 1. It will increase by 1. 3 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. Then this condition is true, right? The condition is true. Again, the controller will go to here, and it will execute these statements, and x plus plus again it will increase by 1. Then finally it will be 4, and the 4 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. Then the controller again will go to here, and it will execute the statements, and x plus plus, and then x plus plus, where we have x plus plus, and this is the 5. 5 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. Again controller will come here, and it will execute the statements, and then it will increase by 6. It will increase by 6. The 6 is less than or equal to 5. No, the condition is false. So the condition is false. So here the controller got terminated. The controller got terminated. So this is the process which will happens internally. Are you guys clear with my point? Before, it is also used to execute the statements repeatedly until the condition is true. But before checking the condition, it will execute at least one time. Do while, the definition for the do while is, which is used to execute the statements, execute the statements until the condition is true. Until condition is true, condition is true. But before checking the condition, before checking the condition, it will execute at least at one time. It will execute execute at least one time. At least one time. This is clear. Anyone has any queries on this while while and do while? This is clear, right? Okay. Next thing we have the for loop. For is also keyword which is which is also used to, which is I would say, which is used to execute the statements repeatedly. The purpose of while and the purpose will I will first write the program on it, then we'll discuss the differences between for and while, right? So first we need to aware of the syntax. Okay, the syntax should be for is the keyword, right? And then the keywords always should be in the lower case and small, I would say lower case only. This is the scope of, this is the scope of for, right? But if you observe here, in case of while and in case of do while, we are taking variable initialization in one line, condition in one line, and increment in one line. The same in case of for, we can take, we can write all in same line, meaning initialization, condition, increment, we can write same line. Are you guys clear with my point? Here we are writing all multiple lines. So instead of writing multiple lines, here we will write in the same line. First one is the initialization. Okay. Next one is the condition. Okay. Next one is increment or decrement. Increment or decrement. Increment or decrement. Instead of writing all the lines, in case of for loop, we will write in the single line only. We will write in the single line only. So I will come here and then I will show you the process, the what the process which will happen centrally. These are very easy actually. Uh, Please do the multiple times practice. So I will write program on it. Then for example, simply this is my demo file, right? Here I am taking one more file, that is mm, text. Here I will mention. Here I will mention for a demo. For a demo dot. But don't the predefined for is the predefined for at the giving of naming convention. Don't use keywords, right? So I am using for a demo. Okay, public class for demo, and from here to here, this is the scope of the class, and here we need to take the public static void main string. I would say of, okay, from here to here, this is the scope of the class. So in as of now, like we written all in different statements. Here we will write in same statements like initialization, condition, and update. I will show you here. So for example, here I am taking int x equal to some one value, and then here I am taking uh, here initialize the initialization, taking instead of doing another line, we will write, we will take in the same line int x equal to one. Next thing is condition, x is less than or equal to, x is less than or equal to 5, and then next x plus plus. Okay, from here to here, this is the scope of the increment, and then here we have to mention the scope of this one, and here we can mention system statement. System dot out dot, system dot out dot print x. Okay, I'm saving this one. Okay, and then I am going to where this is available. I'm going there, and then demo, and then cmd. Okay, so here I am opening, I would say Java C or demo or Java. The file has successfully compiled Java for demo. Okay, we are getting the values right. So what will happen? The internally the process which is all in this is the syntax, right? For is the keyword. Okay, here we need to take the initialization. So I would say if I will take the syntax should be like this. This is the syntax. First initialization. Okay, next thing is condition and then increment or decrement. Okay, this is the scope of the block. What will happen? The basically here it is. Normally we will write one program, right? So I will explain that program. Int we are taking x equal to 1, right? And we are taking the for keyword and then we are mentioning x int x equal to instead of taking this one we will write all statements in same line for keyword and then ఒకసారి మీరు ఎవరైతే అది స్క్రీన్ కనిపించలేదో వాళ్ళ అందులో నాకు రిక్వెస్ట్ పెట్టండి యాక్సెప్ట్ చేస్తాను ఓకేనా అందరూ మ్యూట్లో పెట్టండి ఓకే అందరూ మ్యూట్లో పెట్టి నేను మామూలుగా నేను చెప్తున్నాను కదా జస్ట్ స్క్రీన్ చూడండి మిగతా వాళ్ళందరూ మ్యూట్లో పెట్టి జస్ట్ స్క్రీన్ చూడండి initialization int a equal to I would say we take x, right? Int x equal to 1. Next condition x less than or equal to 5. Next x plus plus. Okay, x plus plus. From here to here, this is the scope of. Here I will pass some dummy message like hello, hello or anything. Okay, what will happen basically here it is. So first x is holding 1, right? X is holding the 1. Okay, it will come to here and it will look for x is less than equal to 5 or not. Yes, the condition is satisfied. Then what will happen? The controller will come like this and it will print these statements. And now the x is increment by 1. Now the x is increment by 1 and now the x is holding the value is 2. Now the x is instead of 1, now the x is holding the value is 2 and 2 is it will check the condition 2 is less than or equal to 5. Yes, if the condition is true, it will come to here, it will execute this one and x value is increment by 1. Now the value which is 3. Okay, 3 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. And then it will come to here, it will execute the statements, and again it will increase by 1. Again it will increase by 1. And this is increase by 1 meaning 4. 4 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. 4 is less than or equal to 5. Yes. Then it will print this statement, and again it will go to one increment, and now it is holding the value is 5. 5 is less than or equal to 5. Yes, this is also true. Then it will come here and it will execute, and it is increased by 1. Now which is having the value with 6. So 6, it will check the conditions. Condition is 6 less than or equal to 5. No. So when the condition is not satisfied, then the controller got terminated. This is the process which will happen internally. This here we have the statements. This is the scope of for block. Got it right? Okay. So next thing is here the question is, what is the difference between the for and while loop? This is a regular question. Why? Because we are saying like which is also used to execute the statements repeatedly, and if you go with the while loop, which is also used to execute the statements repeatedly until the condition is true, then the both are doing the same purpose. Then what is the difference between the while and for loop? That is also a regular, very frequent question. Okay, what is the very frequent question? What is difference between while and for loop? While and for loop. Okay. Hmm. So first, for is the range based loop. Okay, for is the range based loop. Range based meaning if you know the range, starting value. If you know the starting value and ending value, then you can go with for loop. So that's why for is the range based loop. Range based loop. Range based loop. Okay, but in case of while loop, this is like basically based on the condition it will execute. Here there is no range basically. So until the condition is satisfied, it will execute the statements. For is the range based loop, while is the condition based loop. While is the condition based loop. Okay, that is the major difference between the for and while loop. So for is the range based loop, while is the condition based loop. Condition based loop. Got it? And then next we have the nested for loop. Nested for loop is also execute the statements repeatedly. Nested for loop. So basically, which is used to print the pattern printx. Nested for loop. Nested for loop meaning normally in the last session we discussed about the nested if block, right? Nested if. So which is also similar like that only. We can write one for loop. This is the one for loop, right? This is the one for loop. Nested for loop meaning one for loop you can keep inside the other. This is the one for loop, and this is the another for loop, right? This for loop I am keeping inside this for loop. That's enough. Are you guys clear with my point? This is a nested for loop. So the main purpose of this nested for loop, which is used to pattern printings. They have some pattern printings. At the time of this pattern printing, we will use this one. Okay. So I will show you how it will work like that. I will take one file. I am taking this demo.java. So in the last session, we need to take this read line. Read line is the method which is to read the data from the keyboard. So this method we are taking the data in the form of string format. The string format we are converting to the integer. Integer, okay? Okay, now we'll take one more file actually. I am taking the file with nested nested for demo.java public class nested demo nested for demo dot this is the scope of the class. Here we need to take the main method public static void main of. This is the scope of the block. So if you observe what I'm doing, the same, this is the syntax, right? This is the syntax for looping statements. This is the syntax for one for loop, right? So I'm copying this same syntax and I'm coming here and I'm pasting here. So here, are you guys clear in my point as of now? Nested meaning one for nested for meaning one for present inside the another for के अंदर for, okay. Here I am taking the value initialization int x equal to some 1 or 0 anything you can take. Next condition here I am taking x less than or equal to 5, and then here we need to take the semicolon and you can mention with x plus plus, okay, x plus plus, right? So I'm saving this one, and then next thing here it is I am taking, I am copying this print statement. So for this one I would like to write one SOP statement system dot out dot println, okay. Here I will mention some the format of star, right? I will take one more for loop. Inside a one more for loop I am taking int y equal to y equal to 0 comma, and then how to write y less than or equal to I can, if you want the pattern printing you can take x. We can try with both variations. You can try with both variations, okay, both variations. For example, here you can take any number and you can try like that, and you can take x and you can try like that, okay. Next here you can mention with x plus plus y plus plus, okay. From here to here this is the scope of for block. This is the scope of for block. Here inside this for block I am writing system dot out dot println. Here I am mentioning x, I am mentioning star, I am mentioning star, and then I am stopping this one, okay. Here I am removing this one method, I am only passing this one. I am saving this file, and then I have to keep the semicolon. So I will run this will come cmd and then java c nested for demo.java. The file has not successfully compiled. System.out.println will take the println method. I'm saving this one. Okay, we can come here again and we have to Java C. So the compilation has successfully done. Java, and then nested for demo If you see how the pattern is coming, the pattern is coming like this, right? But I want to pattern printing. So for that purpose, you can take the print ln here, okay, and then I'm saving this one print method, and then again Java C, and then Java. So we are getting the pattern right, getting the pattern. So here the basically what will happen internally the process here it is every execution of uh, every execution of outer block, so 5 times inner block will be executed. So that is the thing we need to remember. So this is the very important one. Every execution of outer block, every execution, every I would say every execution of outer for block, 5 times inner for block will be executed. 5 times inner for block will be executed. For block will be executed. Are you guys clear with my point? If outer block will execute at one time, so 5 times outer block will be executed. 5 times outer block will be executed. Normally, what will happen in this case? Basically, this is our program. So the first control will come to here. It will check the condition and only the which is less than 5, and the control come to here, and then here also it will initialize with 0, and it will check the condition y is less than or equal to I would say the x holding the value. If the both condition is satisfied, then it will comes to here, and then it will print this one. It will print this one. Are you guys clear with my point? So I will show you this one on. I will use MS Paint. This is visible. Okay, here we need to remember the statement is every execution of every every execution of outer for 5 times inner for block will be executed. 5 times inner block will be executed. Will be executed. Control first come here. X is holding the value. It is less than or equal to 5. It will come here. X is holding the value, and uh, so x is also here, this is also 0, and this is also 0, right? So the condition is satisfied. Then the controller will come to here and it will print, right? It will print. Then what will happen? Next again, the controller will come here and y is increment by 1. Increment by 1 meaning which is holding the value is 1. Which is holding the value is 1. And in case of this one also, y is also holding the value is 1 with the help of x plus plus. Now the y is holding the value is 1. Y is holding x is holding the value is 1. Y is also holding the value is 1. It will come to here, and here it will check the condition y is less than or equal to 1. Again increment, the same process will happen. So here for example, here if I take instead of any other number, if I take the 5, then what will happen? Every execution of outer for 5 times inner for loop will be executed. 5 times inner for loop will be executed. For example, this is the program, right? I will take number 5. then what will happen? It will execute one time, it will execute 5 times. Are you guys clear with my point? It will execute one time, it will execute 5 times. So I will show you, I will run the program and then I will show you. So here I will pass the message is uh, outer for block, outer for. This is the inner for. Okay, here I am passing inner for star. Okay, I am saving this one and then I am going to command prompt and then this is the pattern printing, right? You can compile the file. If you see, one, two, um, so we'll remove this star. I'm saving this one and then can come here. If you see here, outer for is executing one time, inner loop is executing 5 times, 6 times. Uh, with including 0, it is executing 6 times. 6 times, right? So that is the thing you need to be aware of here. Which is executing 5 times, it is executing one time. For example, if I mention this statement is above the this statement, I'm saving this one. Okay, I'm saving this one, and then I'm coming here. Java C. Now, if you see, okay, fine. So every execution of outer loop, inner loop will be executed 5 times. Inner loop will be executed 5 times. So this is the outer loop, right? This is coming for the outer loop. These all are coming from the inner loop. So every execution of outer loop, in this case, it is executing 6 times. 6 times. So if the outer block will execute at one time, inner loop will be executed 5 times, 6 times. So this is the things. So I hope next one we have the for each loop. For each loop, like at the address also we will discuss about the for each loop. Okay, for each loop which is used to iterate the values. Okay, this is all about looping statements.